can start, Ruchi?
Yes.
So, hi guys, this is Dr. Priyanka Bore from Babies Castle, and I have Dr. Harish Baragar with us. And today we're gonna talk about the sensory issues which are a concern right now with the present situation. So, can we start, Doctor?
Yes, Priyanka. So basically, it's a continuation of sensory issues. Talk what Isha had given up
Yeah.
last week,
Absolutely.
and the whole idea again is basically the number of sensory issues are going up. Children are coming up with a lot of delays,
Absolutely.
and it's a continuation. And I think we have curated a nice program, what we call it as sensory splash program. And the talk is going to revolve around this. How do we consider water-based medium to address these sensory issues? So yeah, Priyanka, we can get started.
Okay. So, basically, I need to ask you this, like,
Yes.
talking about growth and development in babies, infant, and children, a lot is been focused morely on the motor development or motor milestone. But tell me something about sensory system in a simple terms and how it plays an important role in growth and development, because this is something people doesn't tap, because which is not visible as such.
Right. So see, Priyanka, what we see is what we feel it is real. Okay. So even when we deal with children with development aspect and all, so motor milestones are something where you can visually see, the child is having a good head control, the child is rolling, child is standing, walking and all
Yeah,
that.
that's correct.
So most of the time what happens with parents is, if they feel the motor milestones are coming as per the
Okay,
age,
yeah.
if it is falling within the baseline, time frame, then they consider it as normal. Okay, but it is not like that. What happens is you have to look into so many areas of development, like the speech, communication, comprehension, how good is the eye contact. We have had parents, I'm sure you remember,
Yeah, I do.
those children were physically very active,
Absolutely.
but when we saw the children, we realized that this child did not give eye contact. He was not responding to the name being called. The attention span was low. And this is what many parents, they don't realize that, there are areas of development which are getting affected.
Okay.
And that's where we call it as sensory based concerns. Now, before we jump into sensory based concerns, your question was about how important the sensory development is. Okay. Now, basically, we have around 6 to 7, senses, our special senses, what we call it as sense of touch.
Yeah.
Okay, sense of motion, how you move your body in space, that's your vestibular. Vision is what we are able to see the environment. Auditory is basically what you are able to hear. Proprioception is basically how you can feel your own body. So if I close my eyes, I know I'm sitting slouched, I'm straight, this is my right hand. So I get to know about my own body, how it's moving. Okay, and so basically visual. Yeah, and last two are your smell and your taste. Okay, now basically your sensory system is like a junction. Okay, so if you can see everything in your environment and you can make a sense out of it, that is because of your brain and your sensory impulses. Okay, so without sensory system or without the brain working together, it would have been a completely different perspective. Now this is a page, this is a phone, this is a pen or whatever. You are able to differentiate that. So all the senses are working together and your brain is kind of processing that inputs and it gives a meaning to that. Okay, and that's how you respond to that in a meaningful way, in a rationalized way. Right? So if there is a lot of sound going around and if I call your name, I say Priyanka, you are able to immediately switch your attention to me and you respond. But imagine if your auditory system was not working correctly, I would have had to call you 10 times to get your attention. That's where it starts affecting your system. So sensory system is like one of the very important aspect when it comes to development. Okay?
So the next question would be, what are different sensory issues we may come across? Few of them
Yes.
if you can elaborate it.
Absolutely. So see, in last a decade or two, autism cases, sensory issues, ADHD, conditions falling into ASD like traits are on a high. And we already know that first 1,000 days of baby's life is so important when we look at sensory experiences and enriching their sensory experiences, and environment plays very important role, and as well as the social stimulation. So what has happened is, especially in last 1 year, Priyanka, you will if you recollect last June, May onwards, I think we went into online screening, and around June, July, August, September, October, we got so many referrals of children having baseline sensory developmental, concerns. And so basically what happens is, if your sensory system is not working in a correct way, that's where it start affecting your development. Okay, so there is something what we call it as hyper responsiveness and hyper responsiveness. Okay, I will not go in technicality of this, but just remember that some senses will work below optimum level and some senses will be overly active. Okay, now just a quick example, what is happening in today's day. Now we all are locked down. There is no social stimulation, there is no environmental stimulation. People are putting their infants to high on-screen time. The on-screen time has gone up. So what is happening is, their visual system is not very competent to watch all these high frequency visual stimuli. So what is happening is, it's rewiring their sensory system. They're using a lot of their visual sense more than the auditory, and this is causing a lot of language delay. Okay, children are not able to pay attention. Their attention has gone down, they have become more anxious, they have become more impulsive, they constantly seek a lot of visual stimulation. Now if you don't give an iPad to a child, they get completely restless, they don't know what to do. So it's kind of affecting their higher functions of creativity, imagination, right? So there are different aspects we look into, as I said, it could be under functioning, below optimum level, or it could be very hyper. And in both the cases, it's going to affect the development of the child.
So basically those 1,000 days, it should be more of a natural seeking than all this technological, equipments and gadgets which are being given because of the lockdown. So that is
yes. So basically, Priyanka, you have been advocating that the first 1,000 days, the brain very rapidly grows.
Absolutely.
And brain is an organ that will always want information. Whether you like it or no, it's constantly hunting for the information. So it's kind of self-tuned. The baby is in a very highest stage of self-learning skills. So if you happen
like a
to
hard drive just downloading the facts is what I say.
Yes, but if you start giving them information,
which is irrelevant.
Relevant or irrelevant, but of course in a way that it should fall within the competency of the sensory system that is evolving in the baby, then what happens is, too much of sensory information goes to the child, and then the eagerness or curiosity to seek the information goes down, and then you will find that these children are aloof. They don't like to connect with people, they are not asking much questions, they are very introvert, they are very shy, they talk less, they do not like movement based activity, they are happy to sit with a phone without moving for 8 hours in a day. Then these issues will start cropping up that way.
So again, can sensory issue lead to behavioral concerns? So this is
yes. So see, behavior is something which is driven by emotions. It is driven by so many factors. We call it as emotional behavior, motor behavior, or whatever XYZ. So it's a personality trait of everyone, and that is going to be determined by how your experiences were in your early childhood, in your early infancy. Okay. Now look, ideally if you have a toddler and if you call their name, Ridham, just an example, you would expect the child to look at you and come to you, right? So there is always a give and take. There is an input and there is an output. Okay. And under normal circumstances, we all would want the child to reciprocate meaningfully. Okay. And if the sensory issues are cropping up, these behavioral trait may go for a toss. Just for an example, you call out a name, the child will not look at you. The child is communicating with you, but they do not have an eye contact with you. Okay? Or sometimes because the auditory stimuli is too much of YouTube, too much of rhymes, too much of on screen, they start talking with accent. You must have seen so many toddlers. They communicate with certain robotic accent. Right? And because they are not moving so much, they may end up skipping a lot of important milestones like creeping, crawling. They will not like walking. They will be hesitant to walk on a hurdle. Children may not like swing. for an instant, I have seen children not stepping out for last 1.5 years, and suddenly they come, they get very anxious of the place and people around. That triggers a lot of anxiety, so it's a whole gambit of issues.
Yeah. So
If you
when
look
we
at,
started, we are having parents who come and tell us that because of lockdown they were inside
Right.
the home, and now we have got them out. If they are in the lift, they get scared.
Yes.
Ruchi keeps on telling that
Absolutely.
you introduce a new toy and they are scared of the toys. Like this
Absolutely.
was not something which we have experienced before, kids.
Absolutely.
Because kids are someone who are more of seeking. The nature has to be seeking. They should be
Absolutely.
more inquisitive about different things, and
Yes.
the learning has to come naturally. But now
Absolutely.
it has become so robotic with all the iPads and the screen and the four walls of the house, that that natural seeking
Is not there.
is not there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, which is a major concern for the behavioral issues or whatever,
Yes,
the
yes,
restlessness,
definitely.
impulsiveness
Definitely.
the parents are facing in this present situation with the kids.
And you already know, Priyanka, we have always faced a lot of parents. Of course, we shouldn't be commenting so much on that. But yes, protectiveness and overprotectiveness, there is a fine line.
Absolutely.
And now with this COVID fear, parents have become anxious and they are all the more imposing restrictions on children.
Absolutely.
So it's like a very two-edged sword. What do we do?
Yeah.
So it becomes all the more important to look at these experiences to get more enriched in their early years of development.
So this is what I always used to say in my seminars, like a child has that instinct, like he will never put his hand inside the fire, he will just pull it away. Or if you put the child, a small baby in the water, the baby will come out like a dolphin because it is naturally
They
there
have that
inbuilt. Yeah,
movements,
they
yes.
have that innate reflex that they will come out.
Absolutely.
But the fear of a mother and father goes into their mind so badly that whenever the child is next to the sink or somewhere else, the mother and father goes like, oh my god, my child will drown. And
Yeah.
eventually that fear is reflected in their early childhood. So when the child is 4 or 5 and you try to put them in the water, he's going to be scared because that was the fear which was being nurtured into their subconscious. And this is what has been happening right now. The COVID
Right.
fear is going so much into their subconscious. So in the future, they will be really, they will be skeptical, and that fear will be there in subconscious, and that will impact a lot of aspects of their life. So I
That's
think
true.
they shouldn't be putting that fear, and they should be
Absolutely.
out of all of this, and everything has to be taken in a particular way, and the helicopter parenting shouldn't be there for sure.
Right.
Over and excessive will always cause more of a problem.
Yes, absolutely. That's very true.
So this goes to the second, next question, which is how have the sensory issues shoot up in the lockdown, especially with this younger generation. So we have been discussing, but if you can elaborate.
Yes.
this
So, of course, Priyanka, what you said is right. That environment, social stimulation, and natural play is like a fuel for the brain to grow in the first 1,000 days.
thing.
And if there is so much of fear, anxiety around people, you are already restricting the normal course of development. Not only the child is going to have a risk of delay in any aspect of the behavior, but also in very long term, 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, when this future generation are going to go into their adult phase, it is going to impact their mental health in a big way, because their stress coping abilities are going to go down. So it's not about babies and infants, it's about these babies and infants when they reach their adulthood. So, this is something, a matter of concerning. Yes, the whole world is focusing towards COVID, but there is a lot of collateral damage that is already happening, where we need to put our vision into and start working on, because this pandemic doesn't look like it would be, getting over anytime soon. But the crucial golden years of your baby are not going to come back. So it rather makes more wise decision to start taking steps, look into it, and connect if there is anything a matter of concerning in context to your baby's development.
Yeah,
That way.
absolutely. Can sensory issue also lead to anxiety concern?
Yes. So basically, anxiety means, so see, when you have fear, you know the cause of the fear, right? You know why you are panicking. But anxiety is something you get fearful of unpredictable situation. You really don't know what is going to happen, right? Now, and pandemic is all about unpredictability, right? So undoubtedly, because children have mirror neurons, they are already taking a lot of anxiety from their parents. But yes, if your sensory experiences are not enriched, if the baby is not going to have a lot of nice sensory experiences, any new information you throw at the baby in later stage, they will not be aware of this, how they are supposed to tackle this situation. And that can also trigger anxiety. Like as you said, our aquatherapist Ruchi Tejal, when they deal with infants, they introduce them to different water-based activities, or even when they step into the premises, they get fearful, they get anxious, they start crying, they don't want to go to people, they don't want to explore, they do not respond, they do not reciprocate, the toys appear something very new, fancy for them. So yes, it does trigger anxiety as well to a large extent.
So the next question is, how does water-based therapy help in addressing this anxiety?
Yeah. So see, sensory issues doesn't necessarily mean that we will need sensory based practice, but a lot of motor based practice will also help in modulation of your sensory system, because your sensory system and your motor system are always working together. Okay, now when we look at water, like Baby's Castle has a very amazing system of the filtration and the temperature control, and everything is one to one. So taking that aside, now just coming to the water, it's a heated pool, right? And when you go inside water, what happens is it triggers a lot of dopamine and happy receptors. So when there is a high sensory modulation in a child, their stress levels are high. Their dopamine system is their dopamine chemical components are very low, and that can affect their learning. So what happens when you put the babies and infant children in water? It stimulates a lot of dopamine, and dopamine is, as said, is important to get your anxiety and stress down. And second, when you do this 360 degree of movement, working on very targeted activities, attention based activities, and so on, it will make sure it starts modulating their system towards normalcy. So this is a very powerful mean to work on your child, even compared to the land. Okay, so it's like a catalyst to boost and address these sensory issues.
As well as the sensory receptors on the skin are
Absolutely.
more activated in
Of
the
course,
water
of course.
because of the density of the water, which
Absolutely.
gives more stronger signals to the brain with
Absolutely.
whatever activities they are doing.
Absolutely.
So even that helps. So
Yes, I'll give an example. So it's something like, you are engaging, I'm talking to you, right? And I'm using a lot of gestures to communicating with you, because I'm able to listen and I'm able to use my motor movements also,
absolutely.
right? Now when you have children, what happens is, as I said, because they're constantly watching YouTube, they're not moving so much, they use a lot of their visual sense. They do not use a lot of auditory sense. They do not use a lot of their proprioceptive or movement kinesthetic sense. So what happens is there is a modulation, right? So when you put them in water, the pressure of the water, the temperature of the water, different movements, they boost and they push the kinesthetic sense to work even more what they were not doing. Yes, and then what happens is it slowly starts reducing the hyperactivity of their visual sense, and they start working together as a team. So their responses, yes, it kind of balances the whole sensory system. Just an example, yeah. And then you see their performance and their reciprocation, and the whole developmental cycle starts coming into play in a better way, that way.
And then we have modulated a lot of activities based on the sensory system as well.
Absolutely.
So even that helps.
Absolutely. Now, because you asked me water-based, and so my question, because you have been seeing a lot of children who are coming here for one-to-one land sessions or physio sessions or SI sessions also. What is your opinion, as a founder, where your USP or your approach was water-based? Do you think combining water and land-based would be more effective?
Any given day, because it's a win-win situation. So because water environment is completely different, land environment is completely different.
Right.
On land, a body mechanism is different because gravity is continuously working on the body, right? Whereas when you go to water, you are weightless.
Right.
And the 360 mobility is possible in the water, which is not possible on the ground. So even apart from the neurotypical, and so the point over here is like chota bacha, if he falls down from a chair or something, he will get hurt on the ground because of the gravitational pull is way too much.
Correct.
Whereas a child falls in the water, the water will bounce in up.
Correct.
That's the example I'm trying to give you.
Right.
So any kind of activities the babies are doing in the water is completely different on the land. But at the same time, once you train the child, so basically you can't balance properly on the ground, but whereas when in the water is surrounding yourself from all the sides, so balancing becomes much easier because you will not fall in the water. So brain somewhere get those signals that this is how I can balance my body, and you will see those layover effect on the ground when you will do the land therapy.
Correct.
So water has, so any milestone, so you are been doing aquatherapy, you know this, any milestone we target to achieve just with the land, but if you add water-based therapy, if it would have taken 3 or 4 sessions to achieve that target, it will be done in like 2 or 3 sessions, just because the child is doing both and the layover effect can be seen on the ground as well. So water has completely, it will change the course of prognosis in the kid, whatever concerns are.
Yeah. So you would advocate a lot of combination of therapies also, right?
Absolutely. Because water is totally a nurturing environment, and this is your 75% of your body is made up of water. So physically as well, and as you said, the dopamine receptors, so happy hormones. So it has a lot of benefits. So the ground effect and the results will be beautiful if you combine both the aqua as well as land together. Yeah.
Okay. So who is a good candidate for sensory splash aqua program?
So Sensory Splash Aqua program we both curated together, understanding the need of the present situation, because post lockdown when we started, we have a lot of cases who have sensory issues, from autism to SPD to ADHD to behavior and stuff like that. That's why we thought about it. So any child with any kind of delay, as early as possible, they are they can enroll for the program. They are completely eligible for it. Second is like sensory program will also help the kids to, like you can do screening at the beginning of the program, which we have designed. So any mother, any father having any concern about their delay or their behavior or anything, so we can start doing screening first, and then they can opt for the sensory based program, and it will be more of a customizedly curated program for the child depending upon the need, and we has to be tapped. So this is what it is.
Right. So basically any child or baby or infant showing even slightest of risk of delay should get screened.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
they should undergo these programs.
Because of the present situation, initially it was way too different. Kids were going to school. So if there was any delay in the early age, it was taken care once they were going to school. And there was mother toddler, which starts from 6 months. Then there was early schooling was like 1.5 years.
There was a lot of stimulation.
There was a lot of stimulation that was happening otherwise. But with the pandemic, this stimulation is completely gone. There is no stimulation at all. So because of that, these issues are increasing, and it is going to increase in the coming years. So this is what we need to understand. So as early as possible, parents should seek help. They shouldn't wait, rukenge, ho jayega. This is not the way. Intervention has to be done at the right time. The early you do, the better it will be, because if you delay, it is going to go bad to worst. So this is what we need to understand.
Right. So just putting a point to that, Priyanka, this is for all the parents. Of course, this Sensory Splash Aqua program is for all the babies with risk of developing or already developed with issues of development. But just to put, as an reminder, or just to put it across, we have a program for neurotypical babies also, what we call it as Dolphin Baby program. So, considering the current situation, as said, your 1000 days are not going to come back. If there are any parents, whoever our viewers are, if you can spread the word just about this information, these young babies can still seek and undergo this special classes, what we call it as Dolphin Baby program, and it will ensure that these sensory issues do not crop up. We need not rather wait and observe for 8 months and then see, okay, whether my baby is eligible or no. In fact, you can start these programs right from within 1 month or less once the baby is born. So it's a very fine line. As she said, it's very customized for sensory splash program to achieve those concerns to go down.
Absolutely.
But we have a special dolphin baby program for
Yeah.
neurotypical babies, so you actually push their potential to highest limit,
Yeah.
and you can push their development.
And there are so many babies till 1 year, 2 year, the mother and the father feels that that my child is developing properly, but then suddenly the child is not talking, and that is the time that they realize, oh my god,
Absolutely.
this is something has gone wrong. So don't wait till 2 or 3 years where
Yes.
you typically see some issues.
Yes.
You can just come to us, and we are there to help you
Correct.
out. So screening has to be done
Absolutely.
with each and every child, is what I personally feel.
Of course, it goes without saying. So last question, Priyanka. Now, because it's a COVID situation,
Yeah.
we are into essentials. We are working. So, what is the safety practice and at Babies Castle considering this
So
situation?
basically, being into essentials, we are lucky enough to keep the center on. We are lucky enough to cater the newborns and the kids at our center. So the practice which we are doing over there is like so all the norms we are following, which are being given by the government. So
Mhm.
the temperature check has been done with each and every even with the babies, the parents whomsoever are coming with the kids. We are also doing sanitization, and we are specifically doing one baby at a time.
So it's all one-to-one.
It's completely one-to-one. One family walks in, does the session, walks out. We again do the sanitization of the entire premises. Then the second baby comes in. And luckily, with God's grace, it's a huge premises. So we have 2,500. So every
So the distancing norms can be
distancing
followed.
norms is completely followed. So that is
Okay,
the
great.
way.
And yes, and I think we have had so many parents still coming in the phase of lockdown and all,
Absolutely.
and
And we are
seeking the
doing,
services
yeah,
because it
absolutely.
was essential for their babies as well. So that has been the best part. Any takeaway message before we conclude the session?
So, as a mother, I see a lot of babies who have sensory issues who are coming to us. I really feel helpless being a doctor as well, that I can't help the child. We try to modulate the program and everything. So I can understand as a parent how it feels. So it's so important to seek help in the early stages. Don't wait till the time the case goes worse, and even doctors feel helpless at times that how to help the child. So because the sensory concern is something where even medicines or any kind of any surgery is not going to help your child. It is all about the therapies and early interventions which you are going to do. So please seek help, and just
That's true.
yeah,
Seek help when you
seek
feel.
help when you feel
The
it
parent is the best judge. Very instinctively they know
Absolutely.
if there is something wrong going with their
Yeah.
baby. So
And the acceptance part is also something
Of course,
very
of course.
difficult, that a mother and father is not able to accept the fact that they have some issues. But the more you will accept, the better you could help your child. So be open about it and seek help is the only message I would like to give them.
That's true. Do we have any questions? Okay, great. So this is a good overview. I'm
Yeah.
sure we would get a lot of questions as we are getting with a lot of parents coming up with their
Absolutely.
concerns. But yes, just to put it across, just to conclude, we have a very special sensory splash program for all the babies, infants and children in risk or have been developed any form of developmental delay. So please put this message across your friends, families, relatives. If you come across any child coming with any baseline deviation in their development, please connect with us. We would try our best to guide the parent and see what best can be done for the family. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay good till we meet again.
Thank you, guys.